Okay, I really don't like doing these, I keep saying, but I have to tell the truth. So, I was a car dealer in New Jersey, Lakewood, New Jersey. A fellow, two fellows actually, came and they stole my ID. What they did was they took a picture of my dealer license. They went to Brooklyn, New York, and they bought $500,000 worth of used cars from a car dealer, registered as me in a New Jersey motor vehicle in another city, and sold those cars and kept all the money and sales tax and did not claim and put them on my company. I pressed charges on them when motor vehicle caught them. Um, he post bail and went and hid in Israel for 2 years. Came back and the case was dismissed. So now he stole my identity. He forged my name on legal documents, collected sales tax illegally on $500,000 worth of sales or more. We don't even know the exact number, and got license plates for people, like forged out everything, all the paperwork, title work, everything. Anyone else did that, they would be 20 years in jail, and it was their second offense. Posted bail, went to Israel, hid for 2 years, came back, and the charges were dismissed. How do you do that? Wait, then another Jewish guy and his brother, a mechanic in Lakewood, New Jersey, what they did was if a they had all Jewish clientele. So the Jewish Orthodox Jewish Zionist clientele would bring their cars in to get fixed. If the car needed too much work, like a transmission or something, he would tell them, the mechanic, the brothers, we'll make your car disappear, report it stolen, and collect the insurance. That's insurance fraud. He would keep the car, though, for parts, like a chop shop, and he would store it in a lot behind my property where my car lot was. He did that with 45 cars that I know of. So the police came and found the stolen cars. They got arrested and they found 25 more, right? So I don't know, 60, 70 cars that they committed insurance fraud on and were chopping them out, stolen parts, and storing them, and the people were collecting the insurance and buying new cars. None of the people got in trouble whatsoever that were doing the insurance fraud. None of them, of the, what would it be, about 70 people, 80 people, none got charged with insurance fraud, not one. If you did that, your first offense, took your car and reported it stolen and dumped it somewhere, you would get on your first offense a minimum 5 years in jail in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey. They didn't get, none of those people that did that got charged. The fellows who were doing it and hiding the cars and selling the parts and then junking what was left over, two brothers, they got 3 months probation. If you or I did that, we would get 20 years in jail, 30 years in jail, maybe even. And it was like 70 cars. Stolen car. How much money? How much the charges for 70 stolen cars and then selling them off as parts? Obviously, if you're Jewish, Orthodox, Zionist, no charges, or 3 months probation, probably in a lesser charge. I don't even know what they did. So if you think that they're not going to come here and start shooting you and taking your property, you are mistaken. In no court, because cops and lawyers and judges are bought off, prosecutors. They're just bought off. They're told, leave it alone. These are real cases. I can get you their names and everything if you want, and cases. I'm not lying. 100%. You try to be nice to people and try and help them, but these people are not. There's no way to help them. No way. They're uncurable. They're psychopathic. They've taken 100 years of every generation since Theodore Herschel and the Rothschilds created this new Zionist movement that told them that they're superior and they can steal and lie and cheat and do anything and kill. They have to kill. It's in there. Like they're all non-Jews. So that's why Netanyahu hired ISIS to take down Syria so that he could kill all the Christians there. So ISIS would kill him for him, in other words. And then he would make all settlements and then he'll kill the ISIS guys. Doing the same thing in Africa and the Congo or wherever that is. He's supplying all the arms, Nigeria. He's supplying all the arms and intel for them to go around the ISIS people down there and slaughter Christians. And Netanyahu's promoting it. You people have no idea what is really going on. And this is happening. And no one is stopping them. In fact, President Trump, who converted to be a Zionist Kabbalist Jew who uses black magic, that's what Kabbalah is, and to make money. So he's been building casinos and stuff over in Gaza. He doesn't care that the people are starving there. He just keeps saying, we got to get them some food. He's in for that. He loves it. He loves those children being killed and mothers and stuff. What do you think they're doing with the Epstein client list? You have so much love for Trump. Trump's our savior. Trump is going to have every one of you killed. You didn't stop chemtrilling. They're not doing nothing about the jabs, which were actually Israel created. Is that Ukraine? Ashkenazi Jews. Their DNA is from Ukraine. They want their homeland back there. You don't understand that? 90% of Jews in Israel are Ashkenazi Jews. They're Eastern European, Ukraine, and Russia. They want their land back and they want Russia. They want it back. And when the Bolsheviks, the Jews, took over Russia, they killed like 60 million Christians. Know who your enemy is. Donald Trump is your enemy. And his whole cabinet. J.D. Vance is skull and bones. He had to get porked in the butt 100 times to be in skull and bones. That's your vice president. Think about that for a minute. I'm so tired of watching them kill everybody in the world and taking everything from everybody. Central banks, the Rothschild, the Federal Reserve, it's all illegal. The IRS, it's all controlled by Jewish Zionists. Zionist is a political movement. So in 1870-something, when Theodore Herschel created this new Zionist movement, it's a political movement. It's not a religious movement. And what they did was they wanted to, with Albert Pike's letter to Manzini that reappeared in 1950, and go read that, Albert Pike's letter to Manzini about World War III, 3 world wars to take over the world and make it a Luciferian New World Order. Read the Albert Pike letter. With Theodore Herschel and the Rothschilds, the part of it was to have the Jews and the Islamics kill each other. But the problem was, in the Ottoman Empire at that time, there were no Jews over there. In the whole Ottoman Empire, maybe 20,000 Jews family. That's every Arab country in the Middle East. There were 20,000 Jews. So what the Rothschilds did, they bought them off. Hey, go to Israel and start settlements or make you a homeland. So they started putting them there. Then Ben Gurion started poisoning all the wells and killing the Palestinians. This is before they were created as a state. And just going there and starting trouble. Bombing, they bombed their own people, set off bombs in Iraq. to kill Jews so that they would move from Iraq into Palestine so they could build the population up, because they couldn't have the Islamics and the Jews fight each other because there were no Jews there. So they concocted the Rothschilds and them concocted this plan to get Jews over there, just like they're doing in America, bringing all the Muslims here. They're doing that in the Western European nations to create, they're using them as cannon fodder. The Jews are being used as cannon fodder too. But they set up schools for them and everything, and in those schools they taught them Zionist beliefs. It's not Judaism. The original Jews from the 1890s, even the early 1900s, refused Zionism because it's not Judaism. It's murderism. It's Satanism. They know that. But over the years, giving them free houses, interest-free loans, businesses, what they did was they built up the population there. The kids went to the schools. They brainwashed them into this is Judaism, which it is not, what they're teaching them. Studied it 7 generations. Now you have 7 million Zionist Jews in Israel. 90% of Israel wants to kill everybody in the world because they believe they're going to rule the world. Don't believe me? Look it up. They're going to come and kill you. And Donald Trump's helping them make the New World Order. He's even posted maps. Oh, Mexico and Canada and Greenland's going to be part of America. Guess what? That's the New World Order map for the Americas, the North American Union part of it. I have to say it because everybody's asleep. They're not paying attention. My conscience is bothering me. I told you already in America, Jews do not go to jail for their crimes. He's letting Maxwell out on a pardon. A human trafficker who we know was convicted of that, and those charges were brought down because there's murder and child sacrifice and everything else going on with that. But she didn't get charged with all of that stuff. But we kind of know. I mean, everybody knows. Just can't really say it. Can't accuse somebody. You can come sue me because guess what? I don't got nothing. I'm just telling you the stories that I know. That things are all over. They're common knowledge about Maxwell and Epstein, what they were doing. And in Israel, they got 5,000 Palestinians in prison, and they're killing them, and they're selling their body parts. And all the pedophiles of the world go hide in Israel. And then they take the prisoners and they stick brooms and metal things up their rectums. They torture them, and they love it. They love raping men. They're IDF. They shouldn't be the IDF, Israeli Defense Force. They should be the homosexual defense force, perverted homosexual defense force that kills people for their sexual pleasure. I'm done with this video. I don't know how you're going to save us from how we're going to save ourselves or not. Your children are going to wind up on a dinner table of a Zionist. You don't believe me, do you? Watch. Watch and learn. Watch all the other countries fall. Watch Europe fall. They're they pay the ISIS to take over Syria. They're going to pay the Muslims in Europe to take over England, to take over Germany, to take over France, and I could go on and on. And any country who tries to fight back with them, they'll kill their leaders. We've seen this in history before. All the Bolsheviks were Jewish. The Russian Revolution killed the Tsar. Those were Jews that did that. Bolsheviks, Zionist Jews. So I don't want to confuse it with the original Judaism that was being taught and that was practiced, and the Jewish people were practicing and living peacefully. Don't want to bother with that. All these stories, they made up this other stuff to take over the world. And it's happening before our eyes, and no one's stopping it. This will be erased anyway. No one will see this. There's 3 people on there. I don't know. My guess is those three people are ex people or FBI collecting more data on me. When they call it receipts, they got receipts on me. I'm on the FBI watch list because they stole from me, the Jews, the Zionist Jews in Lakewood, New Jersey. They stole my ID. And then they tried to put me in prison. And then made up a fake sales tax thing to keep me having nothing, took my houses away from me, everything. I reported corruption in New Jersey, and that has to do with bidding on government contracts that the FBI, the State Attorney General's Office, the Department of Community Affairs, several governors, they're still doing it today. They're laundering billions of dollars in bullshit contracts through special improvement districts or pedestrian malls without doing any local public contract laws and charging 5-10 times what anyone would pay if they went out to bid. And then they're taking that money through mobster guys, Italian mobster guy companies that I know of, a few, and they're laundering it through NGOs and whatnot. It's your tax money with bullshit contracts. It's over. America is over. And they're poisoning us in the sky. Trump's a traitor. And it breaks my heart to say that because I had hopes for him. And J.D. Vance, what do you think a Skull and Bones guy is going to do? He's going to tote the line. Pam Bondi, gee, was she a model? Was she in that down in Florida? A model with Maxwell? And Jeffrey Epstein, is there a connection there? I don't know how to fix this. And I don't know what's wrong with these I know they trained them to be they made a new religion, but it's not a religion. It's Zionism is a political movement, but they call it Judaism now. I feel sorry for the Jewish people because they use them as cannon fodder. Well, God bless everyone. May God protect us from these evil Luciferian, Zionist, Satan people killing children and laughing, wearing their clothes, the women's clothes, having 2-for-1 T-shirts. Oh no, that's propaganda. You're seeing the pictures of them. They're bragging. They're making their own videos and showing you. I'm sorry. There's something wrong with them, and you cannot fix that psychosis. It's MK Ultra programming over generational. They started with giving them all kinds of money, no interest, free housing, free food, free health care, free everything. But they got to go to the yeshiva schools where they butchered the Jewish religion with this Zionist belief that they have to kill everybody and rule the world. They're not going to let them rule the world, but that's what they think because they're getting everything for free. People will sell themselves out. Hey, give you a free house, give you a free mortgage, free business, good job, free schooling, free college, free healthcare. Sure, you're going to go for it. Just like the migrants came over here from South America. Yeah, free stuff. And in the meantime, they've been slipping all the Muslims in between because they want the Muslims to fight with us. And they're gonna finance the Muslims to kill us in America. What do you think they're bringing them here for? South Patterson, New Jersey, Dearport, Michigan. We're in Texas, Sharia law. Yeah, they're going to arm them just like they did the gangs back in the 70s and 80s that pushing drugs. Yep, it's all coming. Good luck. Don't believe me. I don't care. It's fact.